Hey everyone, welcome back to another vlog. So I'm starting this off in the car, but it is a 2-week break of dental school, and I'm actually starting this the kind of middle of the first week off. I asked on Instagram if you all wanted to see kind of my break, which is going to include traveling, family time, but also dental related, some associate job search things and updates. So I'm gonna give you all some of those updates now and talk a little bit about what I did over the weekend, and then the vlog's gonna actually have content and clips going forward for everything else that happens. But since I didn't film over the weekend, it's just gonna be a recap. So my best friend and roommate got married this weekend, and it was beautiful and so amazing, and it was my first like close friend to get married. I was one of her bridesmaids. It was just so special. I've pretty much known her and her now husband through pretty much all of their relationship. It was the most exciting and a happy day. Like, I could barely sleep the day before because I was so excited. And I mean, I'm not even the bride, I'm just the friend. So that's to say that it was a wonderful day. It was so special and heartwarming and happy, and wonderful memories that I'm gonna have forever, and I'm just so happy for them. And then directly from there, my boyfriend and I drove down to another area in Michigan, and I saw a practice that Monday. So Sunday we spent driving all around the town and neighboring towns of where the practice is to check out the different like suburbs and communities, different neighborhoods, new builds that are going up, different rentals. I go into Zillow and like apartments.com before these visits of these prospective towns to move to and offices, and mark down different homes and apartments that are for rent or for sale that would be in our budget. So we like to drive around and look at them, look for like Trader Joe's, Costco, different malls and like workout studios, all those kinds of things that I would like to have wherever I'm moving to. Versus one practice that I saw several months ago now, back in May, was a lot more rural than this and didn't have anything nearby really. After I've seen super rural and then super mega suburb, another visit, and then this one I would say is rural adjacent, is what a lot of dentists like to call it. The practice is rural, but you can live in a suburban area outside of a city. So with the different drives from the city to the suburb to the practice, you're able to kind of meet in the middle where you can get up to do all the city things, and then you can get down to go to work, or vice versa, whichever north-south direction you're going to be going. But that's kind of what this is. So it's that perfect sweet spot where we can have low cost of living but be a short drive to everything that you would want in terms of entertainment, shopping, things to do. And it's actually pretty close to Grand Rapids, as well as getting to Chicago, and then getting back home to Detroit is not too many hours of driving either. So it's really like an ideal place. I'm not going to give too many details until anything's official, but we went out to dinner with my boyfriend, the associate's girlfriend, and the owner on Sunday night after we had done all of our time of driving around and taken our naps to recover from the wedding. Had an awesome dinner with them. It was so great getting to know them. And then Monday all day I was at the office, got to meet the whole team, see the office space, see them just a working day, what their team huddle looks like in the morning. Got to sit and have lunch with all of the lovely team members and get to know them a little bit more, and then see both of the doctors working, how they go through new patient exams, pop into hygiene, talk with the treatment coordinators and the front desk a little bit, just like really get plugged into all the different levels of the office, see the technology in use, lots of digital dentistry, lots of advanced procedures, tons of basic restorative bread and butter dentistry. Got to look into the practice financials. So those are all things that I would say are green flags if they're really open and want you to be really involved and asking questions and getting to know everyone, and everyone has good things to say. Those would all be green flags for sure. And the biggest green flag that I'm noticing between this and other offices is then just, I mean, feeling good about it, but also like how comfortable do you feel with the owner that you'd be working for? Because I was realizing perhaps with other offices, I was just really nervous and anxious about going to the office or talking to the doctor. That like comfortable openness is so important, and that's something I really felt with this office from this weekend. Like, I was never nervous. I was just excited, and I felt so welcomed and so supported already, and I don't even work there. So it was like very special to me, and something I really noticed between other offices that I've talked to and then other offices I've made the effort to go visit. I don't even bother going to see an office. I don't want to waste their time or my time unless I think it could be a good fit. So there's been a lot that I've filtered through that weren't even prospective good fits other than these 3 that I checked out, and then I can kind of break them down in this spreadsheet I have. I'll show you all like a blank version, but kind of has like a pros and a cons, and you want a high number in the pros area and a low number in the cons, and then you can kind of compare from there across the offices, just different categories that I felt were important for me to be looking at. But honestly, once I saw this other office, it was like 12 out of 10 for every category, so it's kind of a no-brainer. Like, I wouldn't even need to use this spreadsheet and compare opportunities, because it was just, it feels so right. And I don't want to jinx myself in saying that, but I will give you guys updates as the week goes, with the office visit, some time with family. And then this weekend I'm going to Denver to see another one of my best friends that lives out there. She moved last summer and I haven't gotten to visit her yet, so I'm super excited. It's gonna be a really quick trip. I don't get until Friday night and then I leave Monday morning. And it is 5:12 in the morning. I'm on my way to a dentist office locally here near my parents' house, like where I grew up. And I was originally going to go in at 8 a.m. and then he let me know to be there at 6 a.m. And I said I was going to go, so I'm going. He's doing an implant surgery for an all-on-6 overdenture. I think a fixed one with immediate implant loading, so it should be interesting. I'm hoping I get to learn a lot and meet the other doctors in the office and the team and everything, but it's surely early and I'm just kind of hoping I don't have to stand and watch from a distance all day, because you don't really get that much out of it. So I'm hoping I can be close up and be doing other things around the office to feel like I get a good sense of what the office is all about. I got here around 5:40, went in at around 5:45. All the assistants were setting up and the nurse anesthetist, because it's a sedation surgery, since it's that like teeth in a day kind of concept where you have implants on the bottom, implants on the top, and then the fixed dentures. So once the doctor got here, we went through the process of planning where the implants will go with the CBCT, and that's kind of like the ideal plan. This particular doctor doesn't use a surgical guide. They kind of freehand, because what I've seen too in a lot of my experience with observing implant procedures is, even if you have a surgical guide, it seems like a lot of the time you can't use it, because once you get in there, certain areas, the bone isn't ideal once you start to work within it, and then you have to change your plan anyway. So it's important to know your anatomy and your landmarks and the different nerves and which nerves you can and can't mess with, and how to read a PA if you need to take one in the moment to see where your implant is looking. So it's important to have all those kind of freehand skills, is basically what he was telling me, and I can totally understand that. So we went through that process and then got the patient numb once the patient was asleep, and started the process of placing implants, did all the maxillary, and they used a totally digital workflow. So they used the dominoes on the implants and did a face scan, and then they took those off and placed the healing abutments and did like a traditional intraoral scan that you're probably familiar with, and then they went and sutured all that up with the bone grafting where needed, and then went in and did the same thing on the bottom. And they finished that process while the bottom arch was being worked on. They sent the STL file for the scan, as well as the face scan and the CBCT, over to the lab tech that makes their cases. So he digitally designed what the upper arch is going to look like, and then they 3D printed it here in-house, a temporary out of resin, and then it's going to be the same concept for the bottom. And those get delivered today, immediate loading onto those implants for 4 months of healing, and then the patient would return to get their permanent denture that's fixed in place to those implants. So it was super cool. It's about 12:30 right now. I stepped out for the day now that all the surgery is done, because the 3D printing for the lower is going to take another 2 or 3 hours. So the doctor's going to be seeing some other patients in between. But I feel like I've been here a while, I got the vibes, and I'm so grateful that I came. It was a super cool opportunity. This doc isn't necessarily hiring like for me when I graduate next summer. He's looking for more immediate help, and not necessarily the office that I'm in. He owns a handful of offices. So it was more of just reaching out to a connection and coming in and getting some great clinical experience, not necessarily like a job interview, but always forming those relationships with his team, with him, and you never know where it's going to lead in the future. So that was kind of the plan for today and how everything went. Okay, we're back home. I've literally changed in pajamas and I'm gonna relax in bed for a little bit at my little brother. I don't know if you've all gotten to meet Mr. Theo yet, but this is my parents' puppy. And then later today I'm getting dinner with my friend that just moved back to Michigan, and she's around the area right now too, so we'll get dinner and catch up. And that's really everything. I'm feeling great because I'm on real vacation now that I'm not going to work. I just got off the phone with my future boss and I have a contract being sent to me. I'm so excited. Like, I'm just thrilled and it feels so right. I feel like I've talked to a lot of people, friends, family, young dentists that have gone through this, prayed about it, and it just feels so right. So it was a super quick trip. I didn't get until late Friday night to Denver. First stop was Boulder and we went to a little food hall and then checked out the different shopping areas, went to Golden, and then we're back in Denver for dinner. It was nice because we could just explore several different towns all in one day, thankfully, since my friend has her car down there. And then Sunday was our big national park day where we drove out to Rocky Mountain National Park so early. We left at like 4:30 in the morning to get there, but it was well worth it. We did one of her favorite hikes to take her out of towner friends on through Dream Lake, Emerald Lake, and Nymph Lake. It was pretty easy, I would say. It definitely has an incline, but nothing too challenging. I'm not like an avid hiker, but absolutely beautiful, perfect weather. And then honestly, it was over so quick. I can't wait to go back. And that actually wraps up this video of summer break. So be sure to tune in to hear about what's to come with my potential future job in the next video.